Welcome to the newest Bearded Booktube. As always, I'm your host, Chris the Beard, looking all fantastic and well-defined again, Arnone. Now, today I've got a book review for you, and that is, I know I talked about it before, that I was reading it. Well, I finished it, The Big Damn Sin City. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with the things I thought the book did say well. So first off, I'm a huge fan of Frank Miller as an artist specifically. His work that he's done, how he can sort of vary his artistic style to fit the genre. And in this one, I mean, it's almost all in black and white. And there's such great contrast and style to everything he does on every page. It's really, you know, he's good at playing with minimalism and just really telling a story visually. So that part I very much liked. Now, if you've ever read any like heavy adult noir, he really does capture that whole genre, that feeling, the grittiness, the dirtiness. He's right there. And Sin City is just a perfect palette to play in when it comes to that particular style. And then finally, my favorite stories that he did in this whole collection. So the Big Damn Sin City collects all 7 volumes of Sin City. It's everything he ever did. The short works are really the best ones. Most of what you're familiar with if you've watched the movies are the longer pieces, the longer storylines. But a lot of his short stories, I tell you what, that's where I felt it was most strong and I enjoyed it the most. Now we're going to talk about some things I felt he didn't do as well, Frank Miller. So the one big one, I've been talking with people about this offline, is women. So all of the women in Sin City are either hookers, strippers, or their storylines in some way revolve around sex. It's sort of like Frank Miller doesn't understand how to use women without using the sex part of who they are. Not a single woman in the entire story gets through this world because she's just a badass or because she's intelligent. It's all sex, sex, sex. There's even this one part where Miho, Deadly Little Miho, if you're familiar with that. I mean, she's this badass, amazing Japanese assassin, and, you know, she's following this guy around, and she's killing people, and then there's a scene, and, oh, there's her nipple slipping out of her kimono. Here's the thing. This is drawn. There are no accidental nip slips when you're drawing every page. It seemed completely superfluous, completely needless, and here's a character, like, yeah, okay, she's in Old Town, she's theoretically a hooker, but we've never seen her in a sexual situation. She's just a badass. And then, okay, here's her nipple. Just because. It made no sense to me. Miller had no idea how to use his female characters in Sin City without having sex heavily involved in it, which is just terribly misogynistic and short-sighted. It just really bothered me from start to finish all throughout the book. Now, as for the men, his men are stronger characters, and, you know, there's some nudity with them, unlike the women, where there's almost constant nudity. But my problem with all of his male characters, all of his protagonists are men, and they're all pretty similar. They're all, even if they're good guys, they're dicks. They're not the best people to be around. They have no respect for women most of the time, and they all somehow seem to have some superhuman strength, even though the story is sort of trying to tell itself in a more, you know, noir, realistic, you know, kind of setting. All the protagonists seem just superhumanly able to kick people's asses or survive wounds that should be grievous and completely deadly. It's really strange. And then my last complaint are his villains. So while all of his protagonists are this sort of dark gray, you know, I mean, they're definitely anti-heroes, all of his villains are just completely irredeemable asshats. There's nothing to make you even like the villains a teensy bit. I think the best stories are the ones where, you know, people are people. People are shades of gray. There's no black and white, good and evil. Everybody thinks they're the hero of their own story. Definitely not the case with these, you know, antagonists. They pretty much know that they're terrible people and they're doing terrible things. In summation, there were some things I liked. The art, to me, was the highlight, but I'm giving The Big Damn Sin City, and therefore all of Sin City, 2 out of 5 beards. That's right, beards. That's the scale I'm going with. If you're seeing this on Goodreads, of course, it'll be 2 out of 5 stars, but here, beards. 2 out of 5 beards. Was not a big fan. I would tell you, if you're thinking about reading it, skip it, or else you're in for a long haul with a lot of nudity and a lot of misogyny, and it's just not worth it. I like the movie. I haven't seen the second one, but the first one, I like the movie better than I like the actual book. So there you go. Check me out. I'm all over the internet, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. I'm a Goodreads author. Check out my website, and check out my book, The Lost and Broken Realm. It's on Amazon. It's also on Nook, and yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next episode.